Hey,
Hey, y'all.
what's up, girl?
Oh, me and my crew are here.
I see you and the boys.
Being our, normal crazy selves and stuff.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It was a interesting day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's been a it's been an interesting couple of weeks for me.
well, yeah, definitely that. But today with the cold weather, and then we having to stay home and work from home. I'm sure the boys are probably home today.
Today, tomorrow, and we'll just keep
More.
on counting with
Yeah.
the, polar vortex that won't leave Kansas.
Well, I think we're gonna go back in tomorrow, but there's too many distractions at home for me to
I
work.
can't see.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
there is.
I'm not on
Well,
screen.
Sorry, man. He wasn't on screen. He's not happy about not being on screen.
okay.
Yeah, definitely lots of distractions, including like this. But
Right.
you know, I'm kind of in the zone of I'm controlling what I can control, and it's about what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. But it was a good day overall. I'm kind
Good.
of tired right now because I had an event early this morning um, that I got victory in, but still it came at a great cost because I've been weighed down and heavy about
Yeah.
that for a couple months now. So
Yeah.
um, it felt good to win, but
Good.
it still came at a cost. So,
Hey, if we're doing this, you're gonna go to bed.
but I'm excited about tonight. So
Yeah, why don't we jump right into that? We got lots coming.
yeah, and I think Evie is supposed to pop in because I talked to her a little bit about this weekend
Yeah.
at the AYPN event, and we were just talking about getting together and stuff. So I hope she got my text. I just called her to try to check in, but maybe not.
So, y'all, tonight we are talking about the climb.
Yeah,
And man, is that just not the season of life right now? I tell you.
it is. I mean, I know we are going through our own personal experiences, but um, one of the things I learned 2 weeks ago, I was in a bad space and over, the stuff I'm dealing with. And I went to Bible study, or not Bible study, it was men's prayer breakfast. Elevate Men is a group I'm part of. And we
Yeah.
do it at my church, at the Oasis Church on Saturday, the second Saturday
Yeah.
of the very month. And, I'm a leader in that group and I normally talk a lot and share, but I just had nothing and I couldn't share. And the brothers rallied around me. Um, but one of the things I learned in that session when the brothers talked about that, we get to this level and we feel like life happens or hits us, we hit this wall and we fall, or we have to restart the climb. But it's not a restart. It's just he talked about how we're going like this and we get hit and we just pivot. We go sideways and then we go back up. It's not falling all the way back down and starting all over again. So
Okay. We're gonna stay like this. What's interesting about that is, um, I was creating a presentation, well, over the past couple weeks anyway, and one of the images I put in it is of a mountain.
Hmm.
And I was putting little figures on it to make a point, obviously. And I kept thinking about that exact point of, um, we get to like peak number one, and then we have to go down, and there's a valley, and then we go up the next peak. And so, even though you're essentially still climbing up for all intents and purposes, like you're still making forward progress, and your elevation is still getting higher.
there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Which actually leads me into what I wanted to start with anyway.
Yeah.
I was listening to a story from Tyler Perry,
Yeah.
and he was talking about becoming a pilot.
Ooh.
And I didn't even know this about him. So as soon as he started talking about it, I was totally intrigued. But he was trying to teach a lesson in the process. So he talked about how, you know, he made the decision, I want to be a pilot. And without any special training, hires a guy and just jumps in a plane with the guy. You know,
Why not?
Classroom time, you know, all the different prereq steps that most people would take.
I'm not getting touchy.
Being Tyler Perry, he just jumped right in the plane.
Yeah.
Hired an instructor and jumped in the plane. So the plane is going up, and they get to a point in altitude where they start to experience great turbulence. I can just imagine what he was thinking and feeling. Like, why didn't I do the special training and all the prerequisites? And it's such a great parallel for life that how many times do we set out to do something and we reach a level and all of a sudden we hit turbulence, we hit troubles, we hit trials, we hit pain, whatever that situation looks like for you. And we start to ponder and be engulfed with fear. And our first thought in most cases is to quit.
Yeah.
To quit or to turn back, or why did I do this? You know, we start listening to those inner thoughts. Really the external thoughts that don't believe that we can accomplish what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I think the power of the story was as they reached this, you have to remember they were being watched by air traffic control. So air traffic control recognizes that they're hitting these turbulence. And I would say your air traffic control, for me, is God. You know, whatever that is for each person individually. For me personally, my air traffic control is my relationship with God. So as air traffic control chimes in and they give this order and they say, climb and maintain. Go ahead. You about to say something?
Well, I just want to point out the funny part about this is that with air traffic control, they're in your ear. You can't see them. You got to trust that they know what they're talking about.
Right. Good point, girl. Just like our relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, we know he's omnipresent everywhere at the same time. We know he's all knowing, but because we can't see him, sometimes we doubt him and we don't trust him. But to your point, just like there's air traffic control, and they gave such a word of wisdom. They told the pilot to just climb and maintain. They were trying to get him to 6,500 feet. But once he reached that, they said, get to that altitude, get to that level that I want you at, and then just maintain. Once they got to that level and maintained, what happened? The plane breaks through this layer of turbulence and it becomes smooth sailing. And Tyler Perry realized the power of the story or the situation was simply climb and maintain. Climb and maintain. Climb and maintain. That's how he did it. That's how he said it 3 times, calmly, peacefully. And I was like, man, it was like he was yelling and screaming in the room.
I was going to say, my wheels are turning. I'm going to have to chew on that for a minute.
Yeah. It took me a while to chew on that because I'm just thinking, how many times has the Lord or himself or a past experience that taught us a lesson, a mentor, a close friend, a family member, a buddy, a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, has given us powerful advice in the midst of adversity. And had we listened, we'd be in a place where we could just climb and maintain. But because we didn't listen, we experienced not only the turbulence that we were experiencing now, but greater turbulence. Right? Look at Shannon. God's timing, not ours. Patience. She knows what I'm talking about in this story. Shannon knows well what we're talking about in this story. What do you got on that?
She does.
Does that resonate with you?
I'm like, my wheels are just turning. Like, I don't.
That's a lot to chew on, girl.
It is.
That's a lot to chew on. I thought I would throw it at you right out the gate.
Well, y'all are chewing. I did have a question for you because it came up in another show. There was a gentleman on one of our other shows that'll air later on Thursday, Relationship Soup, and he was talking about how he had studied the various religions, and definitely it brought him back to the Bible, and the Bible is what he came back to, even though he had studied various things. I think the gentleman even said he had gone down the path of studying what some people would call the darker side, like witchcraft and stuff like that, and everything like that. But he was talking about this notion that I've heard a lot of religious people talk about it, but I don't know that it is totally understood. And so I was wondering if either you or Lauren can give our listeners an idea of discernment, because I know that I have a gift and an understanding. I think I've told y'all that even in some of my relationships, I've known that people that were going to be in my life for a extended period of time, maybe it was the duration of life, and I've known some people that I felt would only be in there for a season, and sometimes I was even thinking that they might be there for longer than a season, and did listen to the clues of discernment, because they might have been giving me clues that they might not have been there as long as I was expecting that they were going to be there, and I might have just chosen to ignore those messages of discernment. So I just wondered y'all's thoughts around discernment and how much of that gift we all have to some degree if we tap into it. But I just wondering y'all's thoughts around that.
Well, I think everybody has some degree of discernment. I would, in my opinion, think everyone has some degree of discernment. But um, for me, discernment is simply just a knowing,
Mm-hmm.
a divine, heavenly knowing about a situation. You may not know why or understand why, you just know.
Yeah.
And I think the better you get at, and I'll throw this at you, Mark. I think discernment is a muscle,
Yeah.
likened to a muscle. The more you exercise the muscle, the stronger it becomes, right?
Yeah,
The
I would
more,
agree with you.
yeah, the more you exercise your spirit of discernment and begin to trust it, it becomes stronger. And what an asset, what an offensive weapon that you have in your life.
No, that's a great offensive weapon, and I don't think I've ever told you. I've told shared on other shows, including my own show and everything. But I remember as way back in my teen years, and I saw that Lauren had her kids on earlier. But I literally, when we were going to a journalism camp, and you probably had this experience as well, and it's happened to me a few times in life. I had never met those people a day in my life and everything, but I already knew that entire room as soon as I walked in that room, because I had already dreamt every last one of those individuals. I think it was about, I want to say, because it was a journalism camp, and it would have been in my 11th grade year. So I would have been about 16 or 17 at that time. And it was probably, there was a gentleman from Georgia. There was a young lady from Maryland. There was the one from Virginia. I want to say it was about maybe 8 to 10 of us that were in that particular journalism cohort, for lack of a better term, and
Right.
everything. And like I said, I, as soon as I walked in that room, I did not know any of those people. None of them had come from my town in North Carolina, so I was coming from and everything. But it was like I already knew every last one of them because I had seen them in a vision before I ever saw and stepped into that room and everything. So I don't know if either you or Lauren have ever had that experience, but that happened to me. I'm 62, so that happened like some almost 30, 40 years ago and everything like that. But it still resonates with me even to this day.
Well, for me, I took a trip, I think it was 2015, 2016, to Brazil. It was a
Mm-hmm.
team of us, I think third of 12 for 13 days.
Right.
And in my preparation for that trip, I fasted for 6 months heading into that, knowing that I was going to meet a lot of unknown people. We were in various situations to do ministry.
Right.
And I knew the men, there was a point in the 2 points that keyed to me. I knew I was going to be ministering to men, a group
Mm-hmm.
of men, and I knew I was going to be ministering to a group of youth, young people. So I prayed over those groups. And the men, to your point, Mark, I didn't know them, never seen them before in my life. But when I got in Brazil and got in front of them, it was like they were my brothers who I had known for 20 years.
Right.
And I believe that was the discernment. The Lord dropped in my spirit well, not, I won't say everything, but what I needed to know in that moment about them to minister to them. So it was powerful.
That makes a lot of sense. Lauren, did you ever have that experience? Because, like I said, it just totally caught me off guard, and it was decades ago, but it still, as you can tell, resonates with me even to this day and everything. And like I said, I kept in touch and lost touch and got back in touch with a few of them, and actually need to reach out to some of them because some of them are still in the field of journalism, and some of them are, I think one of them is in the field of nursing, actually in Virginia and everything. But I was just wondering, did you ever have that experience where you knew the people before you ever met them?
I've definitely had a couple of people that I'd never met before, and they resonated with me and related to me so much from when I started. But I don't know that I can relate to I knew him before I met him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so and I want you to jump back in, Lauren, on that first the plane comment that we were talking about. Did you come up with anything else on that? The Tyler Perry story?
No.
Okay.
I was dealing with chaos.
Oh yeah, boys. Okay. But yeah, that one you're gonna have to chew on because there's so much in that there. But.
Yeah. Well, I think, the thing that comes to mind right now when you say that is don't stop. Like there's always unknown debris. There's altitude sickness. There's so many things that come with getting higher that you don't expect, so many roadblocks, so many things that come your way as you get higher. And it just kind of makes me think of when you were talking about the eagle, right?
Oh, I love that.
I know. And I think about that all the time. Getting higher and higher, and it gets harder to breathe. Not for the eagle, but for everybody else. And I don't know that it wouldn't get hard. It gets hard as you're going up a mountain. The altitude. I mean, heck, there's a reason we go to Colorado, and you got to kind of change your routine and stuff, and you got to change what you do because you're higher. You get dehydrated faster. The air is thinner. All of it.
Oh my God, did I learn that the hard way?
Oh, me too. I learn it every year, and I'm like, okay, give me all the water, all the electrolytes, and why am I so tired? Why can't I breathe? Oh yeah, I remember.
I'm in Colorado. Yeah.
I mean but it's the same concept of it's been exactly where I have been lately. One foot in front of the other. Keep going.
Yep. Well, so I love that because I don't know, did we even say that? So our audience tonight in Misfits Managed Nation, what we're talking about is the climb tonight. I don't know if we said that. We just
I did because I said the climb.
The climb. Okay. Well, I don't know if we said that, but when we're talking about the climb, when you contemplate the climb, to Lauren's point, what she just said, you never know how long it's going to take you. You don't know what it's going to look like when you get there, because it's a journey, not necessarily a destination. The only sure thing, the only guaranteed thing that you know about the climb is that what Lauren just said is you can never stop. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving forward. One of my favorite words, I don't know if you remember, Lauren, is progressive. Progressive means always moving forward and upwards. And even Misfits Managed Nation, even if that's baby steps, even if that's an itty bitty step in a week, as long as it's forward or upwards, that's success.
Yeah.
You agree with that? Sounds like?
Well, and one thing I would add to that is sometimes the forward motion feels like backwards. And you get into a brain space where you're like, I just like got like jolted backwards, or maybe you feel like you stumbled down the stairs and lost your footing or something. I don't know.
Right.
But so there's a meme I love. I've sent it to a couple people. I've talked about it to a lot more. And it is a video of a guy with a like literally generic white staircase. He's got a trampoline next to him, and he's just like in the lobby of this building with a whole bunch of people watching him. And he is just gradually going up the stairs, falls off the side of the stairs, bounces on the trampoline, and he doesn't go as high as from when he fell, but he goes higher than from when he started. And I absolutely love the visual, because even if it is a painful something going backwards, you're starting as the mountain, just like going over peaks in the mountain, you're starting still higher and still working your way up than when you started originally.
I love that. That's a great visual.
Yeah. I was mesmerized watching this for the first time, and I was just like, that video is worth so much. And you can relate it to so many different things.
Well, and I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
To you, to our audience, to, Shannon, I know is here.
Yeah.
That I guess everybody's got to start asking themselves is something simple. What is your dream? We're talking about the climb tonight. So you got to have a dream first. What is your dream? What are you climbing to? What are you trying to reach? And then once you figure that out, you got to ask a harder question. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to make it a reality?
So I have a very interesting point of view from this. I tend to get stuck in a place of rigidity, thinking it has to be exactly what's in my head. It can't be like a general, like overall, this is what I want to be. It's like I've got this like vision going, and it's like, how do I put all of the colors in this? And then if I have a really hard time veering off of that and saying, this is not where that is not leading to that vision. The problem I find is that I'm using the vision that I put in my head, not the vision I was given to fulfill.
Oh.
And when I try to put the answer in the picture frame that I was given, and maybe it won't fit quite right, or maybe the colors are off, or maybe it just doesn't quite fit with the frame, kind of thing.
Right.
So I have to be very careful about getting out of my rigidity and keeping my eye on the North Star, but following the windy path to figure out how the heck to get there.
That's really good. I think one of the things I've changed a little bit in my prayer is being confident enough in God. And this has just really grown in me over the last month or two, and really because of what I went through, and learning how to really trust God. in a new way is, to your point, I don't want to go on the crooked paths anymore. And there's nothing wrong with crooked paths. I'm just saying I feel like I've evolved now to a level I'm just going to be like, Lord, make my crooked paths straight.
I'm working on getting there.
Yeah, well, I say I'm just getting there. I'm not fully there, but I'm really loving where I'm landing with the Lord and being confident to ask the question. Yeah, I know you'll take me from A to Z, from the beginning to the end on the crooked path, if that's where I need to go. But I also know you're God, and you can make that crooked path straight.
Yep.
So
I'm working really hard on getting to that spot. Like, believe me, and that's why, honestly, why I said earlier that it's been an interesting past few weeks, honestly, an interesting past couple months, because I am working on a new level of growth in that area, and it's been painful.
oh my God, yeah.
It's been painful. It's made me second guess a
Yeah.
lot of things, and it has made me I've had to allow myself to break a lot of times. Um and I've had to learn what the right questions to ask are, and then not fill in the answer.
Yeah. I mean, to ask the question and then just be quiet and listen and wait. Shannon talked earlier about being patient.
Yeah.
One of the comments, God's timing and not ours, and just simply being patient. Um, I've been forced in this last situation. I have been forced because I was silenced. I couldn't speak. And I was forced to be patient and wait for the hand of God to move on my behalf. And oh my God, what a lesson, how hard that was. Because
You
I'm
know,
saying all this, but I haven't arrived at the end yet. I'm still going through this too, just like you.
what's funny is I had a conversation. A friend called me earlier, and she's been going through um, a lot of stuff with her dad. Um, her dad just got put on hospice, and
Oh
like
no, I'm sorry.
it has been nonstop for her for the past couple months. And so she said, "Well, how are you doing? I haven't had a chance to catch up with you in a long time." So I was telling her um, some things that were going on, and um, she she leveled with me so much, and I was just like, I'm taking it by the hour right now, honestly, by the day and sometimes by the hour, and
I'm in the
I
same crisis.
yeah, and she goes, it is the times like those where you grow so much, and it is a way of learning new dependence, a new level of dependence on God, because um, you got nothing else. And at
Right.
that point, like, and that's kind of where I am right now is um like I don't be quiet well. Kind of like you.
Who
I
does? Yeah.
I
It's hard.
I'm not quiet well. And uh, I've been a little bit silenced the past couple months too. Um in different ways, but it is brought my anxiety to a new level. But I was sitting there today, you know, saying a prayer like, okay, where, like, I trust you, where are you taking me? Like, what are you doing? And the thought that I got was, watch me work. Be patient, and I'm going to keep you where you are, because what I'm going to be doing is going to be so great. And, what went through my head was, I don't want to be patient. How much longer does this take? But on the other hand, I'm like, all of the tiny things that I'm doing, and, all the ways that I am, helping my team to speak up and not shy away from using their own voices. Hopefully that's what I'm going to leave, and it's gonna lead to that greatness, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it sucks.
Right. I mean, but to your point, I'm learning on the climb that sometimes silence and patience, those are superpowers.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's hard. Come on, girl. We have talked so much about training in the darkness, on the path, the jewels of the journey that are there. Those are just that's a jewel of patience, and that's a jewel of silence and being quiet that we've got to pick up, right?
Sure.
The Lord has just laid them out there, and because they become valuable offensive weapons later in life. They may not help us, so to speak, in the very moment of this situation, but to have that in our quiver later is going to be so. You're both just looking at me like, okay, shut up and move to the next point.
No,
but real talk.
I'm thinking of like a video game of taking that jewel and smashing it on the ground and seeing if I can break it.
Well, come on. But it's just like our relationship with the Lord or a friend or a spouse, whatever, that doesn't come overnight. Dreams, back into what we're talking about, dreams don't come overnight. And just like we've got to run down that person that we love, or run down that job or that situation or our relationship with God, our dreams and our goals, we got to run those down. But in this recent space of quiet, being forced to be quiet, I've learned that it's in the chase that we learn who we are.
Yeah.
When you're silent and you just got to focus on the destination or getting there, and you don't have time to do anything else. You don't even have time to talk or speak. That you learn so much about yourself.
It's funny you say that, because I had that thought go through my head today too. And I seriously, it was, I was walking through my house as my, who knows what the heck my kids were doing on the snow day. And I was walking thinking, holy cow, like, things are shifting on such an hourly basis, and I feel like I have zero time for anything.
Right.
And I'm sick of winter. I'm sick of cold. I'm sick of being locked in my house. And I'm like, okay.
Welcome to Kansas City.
Yeah. But it made me then think, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's Lauren, I'm keeping you busy because I need you to focus on where I need you to focus. And I'm not letting you get sidetracked by all this other stuff. And I'm just like, I don't like getting answers I don't want.
Those answers you don't want. Lauren, I got to tease you, and I've got to actually bring up one of the founders of the network and everything because, well, I think y'all know because I brought it up and she brought it up a couple of times. She, meaning Kim Calhoun, lost her husband about 2 years ago, and they had been a lifelong couple and everything. I think they've been married for about 40 or 50 years, and then he passed during the height of the pandemic. But she gets together, and she got together earlier today, I think, with some of his co-workers from IBM and everything, and we're getting ready to have a snow apocalypse here in North Carolina. I know y'all are used to that in Kansas and everything. So she was apparently they were having some bets on how much snow was going to come to North Carolina because it's supposed to start at 7 a.m. on Wednesday, which would be tomorrow and everything. And I think most of the people are guessing, which most people are saying, that we'll get somewhere like 3 to 5 inches and everything. But Miss Kim Calhoun, for some odd reason, wants an inch of snow, a foot of snow. So she wants about 12 to 14 inches. And I'm going like, no, I don't want that. I don't need that. I refuse to have that. So no, Kim, don't get that wish of yours and everything. Even though I did hear that the local stores ordered some new sleds because we had a small snowstorm about a month ago and they ran out of those sleds. So they went and ordered some more. So they are prepared for the kids to go get sleds to go sliding down the hills and everything. So our local stores have ordered new sleds for the kids to go sliding down these things that we call hills.
Yeah, 12 to 14 inches will shut your whole town down.
It totally
like a week.
And we'd be shut down for a week, maybe even a month.
Right. You know, I'm with you on that, Lauren. And Mark, I'm so sick of this snow. And Mark, we'll gladly push what we get here in the Midwest over to you on these.
Take it.
Have it. I don't want it. Y'all forget. I keep telling y'all, I went to school in the Midwest for 4.5 years. There's a reason that I haven't been back to Marquette. I'm a diehard Marquette Golden Eagle fan, but there's a reason I haven't been back since I graduated in 1984. So we're talking 41 years. There's a reason I haven't been back.
Yeah.
My son,
I'm on my way out. I'm trying to get out. So
my son had his last wrestling meet on Sunday, and as we're driving there and it's like flurrying and everything, we're just like, what jackwagon in our family decided to sit in Kansas and stay here, and after they figured out what Kansas winter is like, to still stay here?
Right.
Who was that, and why are we following that? Let's move south.
Yeah, y'all need to move south, but I'm still trying to figure out because aren't y'all known, and correct me if I'm wrong, because we have a couple of shows from Kansas. We also got Stephanie that does the bully show that comes from Kansas well, and there might be some others also. But when I think of Kansas, correct me if I'm wrong, I think of two things. I think of the bad snow. I do think of y'all's football team. Why y'all got squashed by Philadelphia is beyond me and everything. And I also think of tornadoes.
How do I mute Mark?
Right. I learned the buttons. I probably could find it,
but I also think of tornadoes. So it's snow and tornadoes, and both of those words I don't like. So that because of the whole Wizard of Oz thing.
Man, Mark, that wasn't cool, man. we still facing the trauma of the loss, and you just opened the wound more.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to do that. I was watching the game and I was thinking it was going to be a good game, and that was not a good game.
It was horrible. But to Lauren's point, back on the climb, I'm learning that if you don't like where you're at in any area of your life, what's stopping you from changing it? You know, we're bitching and moaning about the weather, but I had to look in this last month or two journey, because for me, Kansas City has been a lot of pain the last 4 to 5 years. It's been nothing. I mean, I've had some great successes and victories and stuff, but overall, Kansas City for me has been a lot of pain. So I'm like, why am I still here?
Where are you going?
Well, obviously somewhere warm. So, but no, real talk.
You were going to Brazil?
Right. Well, not Brazil. I would love that, but real talk. I've been thinking about Atlanta, Pensacola, Florida, probably 3 cities in Arizona, Dallas, Frisco outside of Dallas, suburb of Dallas. It's very much like Overland Park, Lenexa, Olathe. Mark, I've actually thought about southward North Carolina, coming that way. Atlanta, maybe too big and busy. So right outside of that is Savannah, which is close to a beach. So I have actively been working on, instead of me complaining about the weather and situations and the pain that Kansas City's brought, why can't I change that?
Right.
And there's no reason I can't, but me.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't know. I'm trying to put a plan in motion for within maybe the next 2 years. That's going to be the goal, financially, business wise, relationship, everything, that I want to be in one of those cities in the next 2 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Lauren, you mentioned earlier this notion of I think you said a day or a month or an hour, and I was, as you were saying that, I was going like, sometimes it's down to a minute or a second, and I was thinking that you didn't even go that far, because sometimes I was going to think that sometimes you actually even go further into the time vortex, for lack of a better second, because you were going down there thinking about that change within an hour or a day. I'm going like, sometimes I'm trying to make a change within a minute.
Right. A second.
Or a second.
So the reason I didn't go any further than hours, because I am actively working on lessening my anxiety and getting that under control, and getting those swings a little bit better, I guess you'd say, because my nervous system for so long has always just been on reactive mode and just on edge. And so that's a piece that I've been working on with myself for probably the last couple months, is letting myself take a minute and close my eyes, take some deep breaths, and go to a not react, but okay, is this going to matter in an hour? Is this worth it? And go through that in my head, because I've gotten really bad about the impulse of getting angry due to burnout and due to a lot of different things, due to stress. And I have been working really hard on not letting those impulses and those things get the best of me. So that's why I say by the hour.
Yeah. Makes sense. But Lorna, are you starting to embrace that pressure and that heat? I mean, is it becoming, are you becoming more adaptable to it, and it's becoming less?
Yes, because I don't remember what evening it was, either last week or over the weekend. I was in my head and thinking, and I'm like, the million and thousand thoughts that go through my head on I feel like a minutely basis. And I came to a realization, had a light bulb moment of, I have been seeing things that I have suggested, things that were my ideas that essentially got stolen, and all of those things, I'm like, I felt like, again, I was being silenced, and I'm like, okay. And after I figured out that some people were not being truthful and like saying, hey, this is where our vision is for you, and then that all got thrown out the window.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, probably.
I was hurt, I was angry, I was a lot of different things, and I finally figured out all of that. I put all the pieces together and I let that go. Wasn't doing me any good to be mad at this person, and I won't trust him again.
Right.
It's gone.
Yep.
But the only person I was hurting and holding back and making miserable was myself.
Yep.
And I sat there and I was like, oh, okay. And I was just like, you know what? It sucks. I'm still a little bit hurt, but move on to bigger and better.
That's good. That's really good.
So I honestly, yeah, I've only been able to be at peace with it for the last couple of days.
That's good. So what, I mean, out of that, it kind of reminds me of where I've been and some of the things I've learned that I'm gonna just throw that at you because this is kind of new for me over the last couple of days, really.
Yeah.
And I'll throw this to you two, Mark, and obviously Misfits Managed Nation. So, what's the key to happiness? What's the key to wealth, making a lot of money? What's the key to success, whether that be in business or relationship or, just life? What's the common denominator that I think all of us experience that have had success in those areas? Who would you say that is to you? I know I have an answer for that, but before I throw mine out there, I kind of want to see what you guys think.
Well, I can take that, Lauren. I think the one that comes to mind to me, and I think that I've been blessed to have it in life, is support and everything like that. So I think that whether it's support from family, because I'm blessed to have a 82-year-old mother and an 85-year-old dad that are still in my life and everything, and are still active in my life. But also blessed to have a very active family and friend circle as well. So to me, is the support the people that are there in your corner and aren't necessarily trying to put judgment on your ambitions and your desires and all along those lines. So like I said, I'm fortunate to have everybody from my young nephews, 15 and 16, up to those early to mid 80 parents and aunts and folks like that. So that one key word to me is support.
I love that, Mark. Supportive. I would throw tribe. Support of your tribe.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shannon, in the comments, she threw out perspective. Wow, look at this. Wealth doesn't have to equal money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really good, Shannon. Thank you for sharing. Lauren, what's yours?
Mine is a mesh of perspective and empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Because there is nothing I love more than this all comes from pain and struggle, but being able to level so deeply with people and what they are going through, and then be able to help them shift the perspective to move forward and see it as for them, not against them.
Yeah, that's good, girl. That's real good.
Nothing makes me more happy than being able to do that for people.
Yeah, that's really good.
Hey, Coach, what about the small victories? Because as Lauren was thinking about that, I was actually thinking that I had a small victory earlier this year and everything, and the person is actually leaving this particular apartment complex that I live in. They're actually heading toward Texas and all along those lines to pursue a greater degree and everything like that. But I remember there was some neighbors upstairs that I used to cat sit for. And today I saw the neighbor that I literally helped out because their grandmother sent the wrong envelope and everything, because an O and a D can look very similar. So she lived in apartment O and I lived in apartment D. So I just had that small victory because she sent me a note. And like I said, I saw her leaving, heading to Texas today. Her sister, her mother, and some other friends that were taking her to Texas to school and everything. But she literally, we met just briefly because her grandmother sent her a gift. I think it was around Christmas or something like that. It might even been around Thanksgiving or something like that. And she just sent it to the wrong address because she got the O and the D confused. But that was like a small victory in me just helping her, and even the pleasant word to a gas station attendant, just saying hello and sharing some pleasantries can be a small victory. So I don't think the victories, to Shannon's point, have to be major victories. It can be something like getting the right letter to a neighbor, or just saying a word of kindness to somebody at a grocery store or a gas station.
No, I love that answer, Mark. That he speaks into mine too. Lauren kind of jumped in the middle of mine too, but that's because we're all in the same vein here right now. But mine, to your points, is struggle and pain. Mm-hmm. Struggle and pain have taught me so many lessons, and I kind of see them as iron sharpening iron. Mm-hmm. And me being there in the middle of it, and I being the benefactor of the struggle and the pain. And I've learned that, the more difficult things and times that I experience, that I'm able to champion or win or gain victory over, like you just said, Mark, even if it's a small thing. Then, to Shannon's point, it's about perspective. It doesn't have to be big stuff. A series of small things becomes a big thing. And and to be real, if we're in that discussion, I don't think you can really attack the big things with great confidence if you haven't won small victories first.
Yep.
So definitely got to win those. Right. The more small things that you can champion and go through that experience of iron sharpening iron, now you're prepared for life's big challenges. And I think, again, the more successes that you have, more victories that you have, that is what creates a successful life. No, I agree with you on that. I do have to tease you, Coach, and Lauren's going to tease me because she's going to say that I'm going down one of those notorious rabbit holes and everything. But here we come. Is it G? No, but I gotta have fun on this show as well, because it is Misfits managed. But I was kind of feeling sorry for the young ladies, because it was all ladies that were going on this trip to Texas A&M, where she was pursuing her master's degree. Because I'm thinking to myself, they are going on this trip with a calico cat. And I know that Lauren's got animals in her life in addition to her kids. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if I want to go on a trip, because I'm thinking by now the cat is probably complaining, because the cat's not even outside of probably South Carolina now, because I saw them leaving like around 4:00 and everything. So the cat might be in towards, it's not anywhere near Texas, but I'm thinking by now the cat is complaining. So that's where I'm going, like, yeah, that's a long trip to be going with a calico cat in a container and everything, because I'm thinking by now the cat is going like, I don't remember that being in my contract, that we were going to go on this long ride to a new home and everything like that. But what's your take on that? Because sometimes our animals are not always ready for the changes that we want to make for them. That's Lauren. He's talking to you, honey.
I'm thinking, I think change is inevitable, and ready or not, here it comes.
Exactly. And if you're part of the family, you're part of the family. So if you're a cat or a dog, you're still part of the family. You just got to be ready to roll with it. Punches, right?
Well, and I'm thinking, thinking of my last move when I used to live in Olathe, about 20 minutes or so from where I live now. And we had been looking for a piece of land in the house that we wanted for probably a good 6 months, and couldn't find what we wanted. And we're like, okay, if we move again, like, this is like, we're not moving again. And keep in mind at this point, we have I want to say like 8-9-year-old dog and a 8-9-month-old kid.
Good point, Shannon.
We quit looking because we didn't find what we wanted. We were just like, you know what? We're done. We're sick of looking. Right. And the minute you stop looking, what happens?
There it is.
That's when you find it.
Right. So got through all that, and like dogs do, ours went freaking nuts thinking, what is going on? What is happening to me? This is like, y'all better not leave me here. I better be coming with you. Exactly. And we flipped everybody on their heads. Us. Let me not leave this part out. When we moved, I was 31 weeks pregnant.
Ooh. Ouch.
With a small person as well. The dog had a lot of anxiety, like, where do I go? What do I do? What the heck is this? Because we don't have a fence here. Mm-hmm. And so he was in new territory and like, can I do this? Can I not do this? Like, I got to learn. So were the rest of us thinking like, okay, what is this new place? What is this? So it was, like anything else. Yeah. We had to establish new.
Yep. Totally. Hey, Coach, I know we're winding down, but I did find that video that you wanted shown, so I don't know if you still wanted to play it, because I can play it from here, because I was going to try to download it the other way and everything, but I didn't know if you still wanted to go.
Well, as that's loading, this was supposed to be a visual of the climb, and I want to also say with it that, it's good to set a plan, but always plan for the fact that a plan never goes according to plan. You don't rise to the occasion. You revert back to your training or what's inside of you when the plan doesn't go according to plan. And that's why I thought this was a perfect visual of that.
But we'll play this video and check out the plan.
Okay.
Harder.
Harder. Rocky and Creed.
Harder. Keep going. Feel that neck. Hey, man up. I'm good. Shit. That's the fight it's going to be, toe to toe. Get used to it. Stop. Take it to the body. Take it, fight the thing. You all right?
Is that the beating that we be taking in life right now?
Woo! Back in there. Back in there. Check yourself.
Warren, you're back in. in there. Get back in there. The plan didn't go according to plan.
You might find me by the water, waiting for the trumpet call. Oh, you see me like a stranger. Well, I've been waiting for the storm.
That's it.
Singing, amen, amen, amen.
Breaking out the cage, tell them lock the change. Adrenaline in the rage, I may never change. Coming through my heart, dilute my pain. Compressing all the stress, asthma on my chest, running out of breath, they gon' know my name. Mud, brush the dirt up off me, going hard, hit them where it hurts, kill them softly. Bone stretch, trying to clear my mind, even smokeless, hopeless. But I'm in this shit, full-fledged, reckless. Coming for your neck, no strap, though. Running this shit, both legs, bro. Word around town that they coming for my head, though. Funny thing about it, they don't know what's in my head, though. Schizo, maniac, finna go klepto. So hands-on, it's kinda hard for me to let go. Lego, my ego in the steamboat with a slowly screaming at the world till she prego. 2 middle fingers to you all till I'm dead and go.
They forget how much strength we got in life in general and everything, Coach. Because that was a powerful clip and everything like that. That was a real powerful clip. I had a friend of mine that he passed, unfortunately, but he really did one of those American toughest competitions and everything. He played football for UNC, and he was also a sumo wrestler. You look him up, Mellow Yellow is his name, Eric Perry and everything. But yeah, he used to do those competitions where you would see people moving basically semis and everything. And I'm going like, that's amazing, the willpower that we actually have in our body and everything. Because like I said, I think his son is a police officer, if I remember correctly. He's a police or sheriff, one of the law enforcement. But yeah, Eric was amazing that way. He was a classmate of mine.
Sorry to hear that, Mark.
Yeah.
Shannon had a great comment there too at the end.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Wow. Well, I think again another great show. I mean,
oh yeah,
I love how we get on here and we just pour authentically.
Yeah.
You know, we got to get back to that, and I love that. That's what made us strong. So.
Absolutely.
It's about being real. It's about being real, and that's definitely what this show is. It's about the Misfits being real and sharing what they're going through, but also the people like Shannon and others sharing their journey as well. So definitely, It's about being authentic, and I'm a big fan of authenticity.
Yeah, love it.
Absolutely. Well, good show, and we'll see y'all next week, Misfits Managed Nation.
Yeah, well, it's been your boy, Coach G.
And Lauren.
And their producer Mark, and we're here together here with this lovely commercial that Lauren did for us because certain person has not got around to getting theirs on there yet and everything. So I got to tease him and all along those lines. That's
Just text me, Mark. Text me later in the week so I can remember that. I always forget it.
I will. I'll get on you.
Okay.
But on that note, we're going to get on out of here. We'll have that commercial that Lauren did, and maybe one about a important notice around mental health as well, because that's always an important message also.
Right on.
All right.
Love y'all.
Get on out of here. Peace.
Hey, Misfits Managed Nation. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I so appreciate you. I know Gary and I both appreciate you. I wanted to let you know, though, that being a misfit doesn't stop here. It is a piece of you, and it is a piece that we have to live with every day. But the good news is we can make good from being a misfit, even though it is chalked up to being a bad thing. Let's talk about how to make being a misfit is good. Let us talk about being a phoenix and rising from the ashes. And I want to help you do that through Forged by Fire. That is how you can work with me. And we would do coaching, we can do consulting, we can do one-on-one or group. I also do speaking opportunities. But let's get that inner misfit shining the way you were meant to.
If you're watching this with your friends, you'll probably make a joke.
Because you know what you feel on the inside
isn't what you want people to know.
If you have to pretend to be happy,
find someone you trust and tell them.
If you get mad at things and you don't know why, or have thoughts about hurting yourself,
find someone you trust and tell them.
You are never alone when you share.
Seriously, people care about you.
It's okay to not understand what you're feeling.
And it's easy to think that you're all alone.
But you don't have to be.
You're never alone when you share.
Don't be ashamed to tell someone you trust what you're feeling.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
Find someone you trust and tell them.
Tell a parent.
Tell a teacher.
Tell a brother or sister.
Or just tell a friend.
You haven't done anything wrong.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone.
It's how things get better.